it's connecting. All right, and we're recording. So this is a VPC mat class. It's going to go for about 40-45 minutes. Make sure you comment below if you have any questions. All right, let's get started. I'm just going to mute everyone. All right, but do ask questions if you have any. Type them in, or do a little wave if you're really not sure. Okay, everyone practice their wave. Good, I can see you. All right, so everyone come on down onto your back. So you're gonna lie down flat. Can I see myself? Yes, I can. Okay, so you're gonna lie down flat on your back. Your feet are going to be in line with your sit bones. So the sit bones are the bony bits underneath your bottom. You can have a feel of those bony bits and then line your heels up with those bony bits. Outside of your feet are nice and straight, and then think of lining your body up with the rest of your body. Okay, so what we're going to start with is some just pelvic tilts. So you're going to bring your hands into a triangle. Your heels of your hands lie on your hip bones. Your fingers come down to your pubic bone, and your thumbs reach across to each other to make a triangle. You're going to take an inhale through the base of the ribs. And as you exhale, you're going to roll your pelvis back towards you. So I want you to think of flattening your lower back to the floor. Pubic bone comes up towards the sky. Inhale, rock your pelvis forward. Pubic bone goes between the thighs. Exhale, roll your pelvis back. And if you think of it as a ball rolling forwards and rolling back, and doing that without squeezing any muscles. So I don't want you to squeeze your bottom or your thighs or your tummy. I want you to really imagine your pelvis as a ball and rolling forwards and backwards without any grabbing. So make it really smooth, iron out all those kinks using your breath. So as you inhale, filling your belly up with air, letting that rock the pelvis forward. As you exhale, rocking the pelvis back. And as you do this, just feel the points on the floor. So I want you to feel your feet on the floor. I want you to feel your knees in line with your heels. So just check, Sam, that your knees, yes, good, are really in line. And that you can feel which spines are on the floor, where your head is on the floor, where your shoulders are on the floor. And it doesn't mean you need to change anything, but I want you to really connect with the ground so that when we come back to this position in the end, you can feel a difference of where your body's sitting. Good. Really using our breath for our rolls forwards and backwards. So once you have done a couple of rolls here, we're going to start coming up to a bridge. So I'm going to take your hands to the floor, palms facing up. On your next exhale, you're going to roll the pelvis towards you as you have already done, and you're going to continue to roll your bottom up off the ground. Think of one bone leaving the floor at a time, and keep the shoulder blades down on the ground. So think of where your bra strap is, ladies, or your shoulder blades, gentlemen. Keep that heavy on the ground, so chest heavy, pelvis still rolling and holding your bridge. Think of your bony bits of your sit bones reaching towards the backs of the knees. And if you think of a coat hanger reaching, sitting underneath your knees, that coat hanger reaching away from you up towards the diagonal, so that the knees are almost going up and over the mountain. Good. And then as you roll back down, you're going to delay your pelvis. So one bone comes back down to the ground at a time, and pelvis comes down last. You're going to inhale here, rocking into neutral. Exhale, roll your pelvis back. Continue to roll your pelvis up one bone at a time. Think of every bone rolling around until you are up, standing on your shoulder blades, flat shoulder blades. Inhale at the top and exhale, roll yourself back down, one bone at a time. Good, you're going to do 5 more of those. So you're going to exhale, roll up, and then inhale at the top. Good, I'm just going to come and have a look at your form. Good, so Lucy, try and keep your bra line back down on the ground. That's it, and roll your pelvis up a little bit more. So almost like a little tuck of your pelvis. That's it, and keep the knees towards each other and rolling down as you exhale. Good, Marie, you're very far away. Inhale, pause, exhale, roll up. Inhale at the top, exhale, roll down. You have 2 more. Inhale, exhale, roll up. Good, reaching those knees up and over your toes. Exhale, roll. One bone down at a time. So now that you're back down on the floor, what I want you to imagine is you have suspenders on. So you know those old school suspenders that hook on the front of your pants and hook at the back of your pants. I want you to try and drag your pelvis away so that your suspenders get even longer, so that you've got that length through your torso. Now from here, imagine your pelvis being a gearbox and your thigh being your gear stick. So you're going to float the gear stick up, keeping your gearbox nice and still. And then you're going to march the foot back down, placing the foot back to where it was. The other leg floats up, and all the while your suspenders are really elongated. So it should make your leg feel quite light. Check that your pelvis is staying nice and quiet, your gearbox, and that you're not getting a rock of your gearbox side to side. We're not in a four-wheel drive. We're in a little automatic Demio. Good. I cracked myself up. So I'm going to try and use lots of imagery here, because even if you don't really understand it, your body's going to react to it. You all right, Sam? Good. So you're going to lift that leg up and back down. And up and down. Now it's really nice to lift the leg with a inhale to get that length of the leg. Good. And when you lift the leg, Lucy, bring your knee directly over your hip and your foot just in line with your knee. So you're in a real 90-degree angle. That's it. So you're going to lift up, find that 90-degree angle. And then as you lift down, it's really easy here just to lift the bottom part of the leg. You want to try and think of lifting from that gear stick, and the foot is just carrying along. That's it. Sam, what I want you to notice is that as you bring the leg up, that you don't start to change the pelvis as the leg comes even higher. So you want to try and find that spot. That's it. Good. Marie, that knee can come a little bit closer to you, and Lou, that knee can come, yes, good, that's it, well done, lovely. Good. So make sure you're even, and you've done a couple of those on each side. And then what we're going to do is keep our suspenders nice and long, float one leg up, followed by the other leg. So knees are directly over hips. Shins are just above knees or in line with knees. And we've got that feeling of length in our pelvis. Just check that your ribs are nice and soft so that the backs of your ribs are down on the floor. And we're continuing that breath deep into the sides of our ribs. You don't want to be tensing through the neck or the jaw here. And all the work is here. So if you think of a piece of chewing gum in your belly button or in your navel, and spreading that chewing gum out to the side and spreading it down to your pubic bone and up to your ribs. So really trying to spread that chewing gum as wide as you possibly can without causing a hole in it. Now you shouldn't feel anything in your lower back here. You should feel your abdominals. There might be a tiny little bit of work in the thighs, but really hardly anything at all. If you feel work in your thighs, I want you to either bring your hands behind your legs and press your legs into your hands to try and get the back of your legs to work, or imagine a cloud sitting underneath your heels and thinking of pressing the cloud back down to the floor. So in this position, we're going to do tiny little movements at our hips, not through our pelvis. Our pelvis is quiet. We're going to draw our knees up towards our chest and then take our knees 1 or 2 centimeters away. So you're trying to keep your shins parallel to the sky. They come in and they go out. Now, if you place your hands, thumbs on your ribs, fingers on your pelvis, you want to keep that nice and quiet. Lovely, everyone. Thanks for listening. It's nice to see you all do what I'm asking you to do. Go, keep going. That's it. Now, you don't want to see any movement of your pelvis at all. So knees come into your chest beyond that 90 degrees, and then they come back out again. Obviously, the further away, the harder it is to maintain your pelvic stability. If you feel like you can't feel movement here, but you want to check, you can also put a hand behind your lower back And that lower back shouldn't be lifting or lowering off your hand. Great. Do one more. Using your breath, making sure there's no tension in the upper body, ribs are down. And then you're going to place your right leg back down to the ground. We're going to keep this angle of this knee. And if you wish to advance, you can straighten that foot up towards the sky. If this is tight in your hamstrings, keep the knee bent. You're going to roll up into your bridge again, lifting the hips up, keeping the connection with ribs to hips. Really easy here for one hip to slope down. So think of reaching either your foot or your knee up towards the sky and keeping both sides of your waist, ribs and hips the same length. And then delay the pelvis and roll yourself back down as you exhale. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, roll yourself back up for 2. Keeping both sides of your waist nice and long. Rolling yourself back down on your next exhale. Inhale and neutral. Exhale, roll yourself up for 3. So if you're wearing a leotard, a ballet leotard, both sides of your leotard are going to be the same length. Rolling back down. Really hard here to keep reaching that sit bone, that left sit bone away from you. Good. Rolling up for 4. Staying low on the ribs, even more so here. Rolling back down. Everyone feeling their hamstrings and their glutes on that supporting side. Rolling back up. I'm sure I'm going to listen back through these recordings and go, I can't count. Is that 4 or 5? Make sure you've done 5. And then rolling back down. Good. We're going to bring both, find our neutral pelvis again. We're going to bring both legs up to tabletop. Whew. Now from here, you're going to do pelvic tilts. So we're going to keep our thigh bones still. You can place your hands on your knees if you wish. And you're going to rock your pelvis forwards and backwards. So you're going to inhale, rock your pelvis forward, should be easy. Exhale, rock your pelvis back. Inhale, rock your pelvis forward, keeping the ribs quiet. Exhale, rock your pelvis back. Inhale, rock your pelvis forward. Exhale, rock your pelvis back. If you're feeling your quad muscles, these muscles of the thighs, take your hands behind your knees. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Find your neutral. So ribs are down on the ground, little space behind the lower back, and you're going to take your other foot to the floor. So left foot to the floor. Hands come down to the ground. You can either straighten this leg or keep it bent. And you're going to do 5 bridges, single leg bridges. So you're going to roll the pelvis up. Inhale at the top. Exhale, rolling down one bone at a time, delaying your pelvis. Let your pelvis not move until it's required. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, roll yourself back up. Think of your right sit bone reaching away so that both ribs and hips stay the same. Exhale, roll back down. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, roll up for 3. Good, reaching that knee or foot to the sky. Feeling a difference on each side. This is my weaker side. Good, rolling up and rolling down. And one more, exhale, rolling up. And then rolling back down. Good. From here, you're going to place both feet on the floor and join your feet and your knees together. In this position, what I want you to do is take your hands to the floor and roll yourself back up into a bridge. So your knees are together, really, really together. And they will want to open up as you go along. That's it. So they're right together. I'm going to face this way so you can really see my hips moving. And what I want you to do is at the top of your bridge, you're going to shift your pelvis over to one side. So your knees stay still, your pelvis moves over like a typewriter, and then you shift your pelvis over to the other side, come back into the center, and you're going to drop one bone down to the ground. You then shift again to the one side, shift over to the other side, back to center, drop one bone. Your knees are still together. Shift over to one side, over to the other side, back to center, down one more bone. Good, and you're going to continue doing this, shifting side to side like a typewriter or like your bottoms on a skateboard until you come down to the ground. Now keep in mind, from where you're stacked on your shoulder blades, which is about thoracic 8. You've got another 4 thoracic vertebra, and then you've got 5 lumbar vertebra, and then your sacral vertebra. So you've got quite a few steps down, and if you're only doing 2 or 3, you're not articulating. So think of a bike chain, 1 segment at a time, coming back down to the ground. And once you've gone shift, shift, back to center and down, and come all the way down, you're going to roll back up into your bridge, and you're going to start with the other direction. So you're going to shift over to the other direction first, back to center, find the other side, back to center, and then lower 1 segment. And you're going to continue doing that for about 7, 8, 9, do my maths, 5 plus 4, 9 little segments, and then coming back down to the ground. This is a great, 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 great little stretch or mobilizer for each of your vertebrae. Trying to get a little bit more movement. Keeping those knees together at all times. Nice work. Once you've done all of those, you're going to roll onto your side, knees together. That's it, and then hands behind your head. I'll just wait for everyone to finish. Good, Lucy, well done. Thanks, Lou. Take your time. Make sure you do it properly. Good, okay, so when you're ready, you're going to lie on your side, you're going to come onto your hand. Now, if you do have any neck issues, feel free to grab a pillow here. Your hand is behind your head, your elbows in front of you. And you want to make sure that you're stacked nicely. A lot of the time what I see is sort of this position, more of a fetal panic position. So you're really going to try and think of your head being back on the same wall as your bottom. Your 2 elbows are pointing forward, your feet are in line with your head. You're going to inhale here and open that elbow. Your eyes follow your elbow, then your chin, then your throat, your breastbone, your lower ribs. Now, we're going to try and keep our knees stacked on top of each other. So rather than letting that hip and knee fall backwards, keep your knees on top of each other. If you are here and you can't get any movement, let the pelvis start to move with you. Otherwise, try and be strict with yourself. Now, in this position, take an inhale. And as you exhale, soften out through the back of the ribs. Think of the back of your ribs expanding, keeping the connection from the front of the ribs to the hips. And then you're going to close your elbows back together and think of it as a spiral. So elbow, eyes, chin, throat, ribs, 1 bone at a time, spiraling back, just like our bridge. Exhale, close, ribs up to our eyes. 1 more, inhale, starting with your elbow, eyes, chin, throat, ribs. We're going to hold this position here. You're going to take your open arm out to what I call like a capital E or a goalpost position. So this type position. That's it. So your arm is aiming to be parallel to the floor. That's it. So Sam, if I can get you to open up a little bit more so that your hand is facing the ceiling and your elbow is coming down to the ground. That's it. So reach your, I think that's your right elbow over to your couch more. Good. And then from there, what I'm going to get you to do is take your arm out to a capital Y and back down to a W. Out to a capital Y and down to a W. So if you imagine that this is my ceiling, I'm here and my arm is out into my capital E and I'm reaching out into a Y and down to a W. That's it. And you should feel a stretch through this area here. If you are very tight and you can't get around, let your knee and your pelvis come with you so your knees and pelvis can open. Otherwise, you're using your breath here to really open up through your pecs, especially through your pec minor. Good. And think of your arms spiraling around. Now, if you're getting any numbness in your hands or pins and needles in your hands, pull back a little bit and find more spiral. Watch that you're not squeezing down underneath your armpit. Nice work. You're going to bring your hand back behind your head. Elbows come back together to face me. So you're going to come up onto your left elbow. I believe everyone's got left elbow, or stay on that side. And you want to check that your elbow's in line with your hips, in line with your feet. If you are someone that gets shoulder pain or neck pain in this position, feel free to come down onto your side. But a really good trick is making sure that your elbow is far enough underneath you, it's not out here. and that you're not squeezing underneath your armpit. So if you take your hand and place it underneath your armpit, check that your lats, these big muscles, swimmer muscles, are not pulling down towards your hips. You want to feel your shoulder blades slide down to the floor without pulling down to your hip, okay? So in this position, 2 shoulders are nice and square, ribs are square, hips are square, they're stacked on top of each other. We're going to do a couple of pelvic tilts here, so you're going to rock your pelvis forwards and backwards to start off with. So tuck your tailbone under. I shouldn't use the word tuck, but think of roll. People are very familiar with tuck, but tuck's a little bit grabby. So think of rolling your pelvis under and back the other way like we did before. Good. Find your neutral where your sit bones are reaching out towards your heels. And then from here, we're going to do a little roll of our hip forward. So the roll, if you keep your ribs still, it's really hard here without using 2 hands so you can see, but my ribs are still, but my hips are rolling or shimmying forwards and backwards. That's it. So one knee will reach forward and then it will reach back. And then from here, I want you to find that place where your hips are in line with your ribs. You're going to reach your pelvis further away, sit bone reaching towards your heel without grabbing underneath your armpit. And then from here, we're going to take our leg nice and long. Have a look down at your heel, check your heel is in line with your body, almost behind you. And you want to feel the muscle working at the back of your bottom. A couple of little notes if you're not feeling it in the right place. If you're feeling it at the front of your hip, you have probably let everything roll back and you have probably let your pelvis rock forward. So watch that your pelvis, your sit bone is to your heel, you're still reaching away and your leg is far enough behind you. You should feel it in the back of your bottom here. If you're feeling it underneath your bottom, you're still in the wrong place. So try and reach that pelvis long and find a position with your hips that make you feel it in the right place. From here, imagine your thigh bones sitting on a table. You're going to sweep the table with underneath your leg. So you're going to slide the leg forward and exhale, slide the leg back. Inhale, toes come forward. Exhale, point the foot back. Keeping the leg at the same height and keeping the neck and shoulders placed. If you're feeling anything in your neck or through your arms or shoulders, you can come down onto your side is always an option. Okay, taking the leg back. One more, toes come forward. Exhale, toes come back. You're going to find that spot in the middle, making sure you still feel at the back of your pelvis, so in that back pocket area, and you're going to float the leg up. Now, rather than thinking of floating it up, reach it so far away that it has to go up. Good, so you're not just lifting. And 3, good, just little lifts and lowers now. And 4, and 5, hold at the top, keep lifting up out of the shoulder, and 10 little pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Bring your knee in. Give it a little rub. Good. So from here, I'm going to get you to come up into sitting and you're going to split the legs. So if your right leg just did your glute work, you're going to come out into a Z position with the right leg behind you. Take your arms out to a T shape. T for Tess. That's me. You're going to keep your ribs soft. Think of your sit bones being directly underneath you. You want to make sure that you don't come into this position here. So if you're finding you're here, you might like to cross your legs. You might like to reach your legs out in front of you or bring a pillow up underneath your bottom so you're stacked nice and high. Inhale through the middle. Exhale, start with your ear, then your hand, and reach your arm up and over. Think of your left elbow or the elbow underneath you rolling forward, shoulder blades spiraling back. Good. Inhale through center. Exhale, coming over to the other side, starting with your head, your ribs, and then your lower back. Keep spiraling this arm underneath you. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist. I shouldn't say twist, I should say up and over, or side bend. Exhale. Now think of your ribs as being an accordion. So we're going to open the ribs on one side, every single rib right up underneath the armpit and shoulder, and close the ribs on the other side. Good. We're going to hold it with our left hand on the floor or reaching away from our open leg. We're going to take that top hand and come underneath our armpit of the hand on the floor. Now this elbow changes to a push-up position. Our hand has got weight on our pinky finger and you're pressing that hand away so that it helps with the spiral of the chest. Now watch that your pelvis doesn't start to lift off here. We're trying to reach the pelvis in opposition and we're in some flexion. So I want you to round your back. Think of your shoulder blades coming around your ribs. Get that really nice stretch in between your shoulder blades. And then you're going to spiral yourself back up into your side position. Good. And then exhale, twist. Inhale back to your side position. Changing that bottom elbow, bend the left elbow, bend that elbow at the side, that's it, good. And twist. Nice, pressing that hand away, keeping your neck nice and long, so gaze travels forward. And then gaze travels towards your hand. Good, from here we're going to place 2 hands on the floor. Good, we're going to stay round in our upper body. And you're going to press 2 hands away from you. And think of your shoulder blades opening out the side of your ribs, so splitting your shoulder blades like sliding doors around your ribs, hugging your shoulder blades to your ribs. Good, and then you're going to come up onto your knees. So you're now 2 hands on the floor, 2 knees on the floor. You're going to, from here, find your cat-cow. So you're going to roll your sit bones, so just the bony bits from underneath your bottom, down towards your knee pits at the back of the knee, and then continue that roll up towards the top of the head. So that our hands are pressing into the floor with our pinky fingers, our arms are spiraling around underneath us. Our elbows are slightly soft but strong. Good, and then we're going to roll the other way, and we're going to start with our upper body. So we're going to gaze forward, let your chin follow, let your breastbone follow. Breastbone comes through our arms, and then we let our pelvis open up, so our sit bones are flaring wide and high behind us. You're going to start with your pelvis, sit bones come together, down towards the backs of your knees, 1 bone at a time, rolling up into your angry cat position. Trying to make that arch nice and even from the bottom of your body up to the top, and then reversing from the head. So you're going to gaze forward, breastbone forward, sit bones nice and high and wide. Good, 1 more, so starting from the sit bones, closing them together, pointing them down to the backs of the knees, rolling up 1 bone at a time. Find your round back position, and then gaze comes forward, and we're just going to come to neutral. In our neutral position, we're going to do some upper limb work. Now, from here, I want you to think of little fingers pressing into the floor, spiraling these arms around underneath your armpits, keeping the armpits nice and soft, keeping the back of the head lifted. You're going to think of sitting in a chair. So your bottom is against the chair, your back is against the chair, and you are going to lean forward in your chair, keeping your bottom sitting on that chair, bending your elbows come in, connecting with the body. Then exhale, press away through your heels of your hands. Good, check that your elbows don't completely lock out there, Sam, so keep your elbows soft. Good, so elbows bend, inhale, exhale, press, energy out through the hands but not coming out to that fully locked position. Good, so bending and stretching your elbows, you have 10, so 8 more here. Marie, try and spiral your elbows back towards your thighs a little bit more, so elbows come in rather than out. Elbows in and more. Yes, good, good. Lou, try and get your shoulder blades to sit against your ribs, and Sam, lift the back of your head for me. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Way more, Sam. Way more, way more, way more, way more, more. Yeah, good. Soften your elbows. That's it. Back of your head nice and long. Tuck your chin slightly. That's it. Keep going. What are we up to? 10 more. No. Lucy, sorry. Try and keep your bottom flat against that chair. So as you bend your elbows, that your bottom doesn't come forward. That's it. Marie, if you can do more of that rib action that we've talked about in class. So think of the back of the ribs. Yeah, good. Now keep that as you bend your elbows and keep it as you press away. Yeah, good. Good. Once you've done 10, I'll let you count. You're going to come down onto your elbows. Now we worked on the right leg when it was out to the side. I'm going to do that right leg again here. Lucky you. Okay, so elbows are underneath shoulders. You're going to take your right leg out behind you nice and long. So you want to try and keep head, shoulders, and hips in a nice diagonal line. And from here, that right leg, we're going to flex our foot. You're going to lift the leg so it's straight in line with the rest of the body. And you're going to rotate the toes out to the side. So the toes are rotating from the hip. Think of your heel coming down to the floor, your toes coming out to the side, keeping your pelvis level here and not opening up through your pelvis. From here, it's like a frog kick. Your knee comes out, your heel comes towards your bottom, you press back out. You inhale, bend, exhale, press. Inhale, bend, keep thinking of the elbows coming down to the ground so that the shoulder blades spread across your ribs. 4 and 5. Good, elbows underneath you. You have 5 more. And 4. And 3. And 2. 1 more. Hold the leg. Good, from here you're going to pulse up for 10, 9, 8, 7, no movement through your ribs, 6, 5, ribs and hips connected, 4, 3, elbows pressing away, neck long, 1, hold at the top. Good, come up onto your hands without releasing that foot. We're going to turn the leg into parallel. You're going to float your opposite arm out nice and long. Now, if this is not available, you can keep your hand on the floor or you can lower your knee and just work with your left hand. Your right leg is lifted, your left hand is long. You're going to connect the hand and knee together. You're going to exhale, reach your arm and leg away. Now, this should still be 90-90 underneath you. Elbow and knee connect for 2. Exhale, reach away. Good, connect for 3. Exhale, reach away. Good, Sam, bring that right arm underneath you again. Exhale, connect for 4. Lou, try not to round. I want you to stay nice and long. So we're not doing a little round and lift. We're keeping this still. 5, good. I think we're up to 5. Hold for 5. Nice work. Bring your knee to the floor, hand to the floor, set your bottom back, reach nice and long. Good. So in this position with our hands on the floor, our bottom is on our heels, and if you can't get your bottom on your heels, I'm going to put a video up a little bit later about some exercises to get that happening for you. All right, so your bottom is on your heels, your hands are reaching forward. You're going to gaze up towards your hands. Keeping your bottom on your heels, you're going to gently press down through your pinky finger and slide your breastbone forward towards your hand. So you feel a stretch through this area here, through your ribs. You're going to exhale, peel yourself back down to the floor. So I want you to think of peeling your eyes up, your breastbone off the floor like you're peeling your shoe off the floor if it's stuck with chewing gum. And then you're going to peel your body back down one bone at a time. And that little feeling is like a caterpillar. You're going to peel yourself up and then inch yourself forward a little bit more, and you should get a nice stretch in between the shoulder blades. 2 more. One more. Good. You're going to come up into sitting, roll yourself up, stack one bone at a time until you are up in a sitting position. Nice work. Okay, we're going to turn back to the front and we're going to start right back here with our hands underneath our head, our elbows forward. Ta-da! Nice work, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so elbows are forward, your head is back in your hands. Think of your head, your ribs, your hips, your feet are being a nice straight line. Okay, so from here, you're going to inhale, your elbow is going to start the movement, your eyes follow your elbow. Think of trickling one bone at a time, rotating on itself. Exhale, re-spin yourself nice and closed. So if you think of fanning open a book, so you're going to start with the elbow, start with the first page, then the second page, third page, fourth page. A really nice feeling here is reaching the arm that's on the floor away from you, so you get that extra little spiral at the top. And then reclosing from the ribs first, ending up with the gaze. One more, starting with your gaze first. One bone at a time. And remember, if you are really stiff here and you're only sort of opening to here, you can let those hips go and let the knees open so that you can come onto the ground. If you feel like your arm is on the floor, you need to be super strict with yourself, keeping your knees together and your ribs soft, so that you are really isolating the ribs here with your rotation. When you found your perfect position, you're going to take your left arm or the other arm that you haven't used before out into your goalpost position. So your hand is parallel to the ceiling, your elbow is parallel to the ceiling, you're reaching your opposite elbow through. Really good check is making sure your ears are even on both sides to your shoulders. You're going to take that arm out to a Y and down into a W. So if you think of the back of the arm sliding on a skateboard and coming down. Good, keep doing that for me, coming up to a Y, down to a W. Sam, try and turn your breastbone towards the ceiling a little bit more. Yep, that's it. And bring your hand closer to the floor. That's it, good. So with this, if you do get that little feeling underneath your armory, you want to make sure that your shoulder blade's moving with you. So like we've talked about before, let your shoulder blade travel with your arm. Try not to resist that movement. That's it. I'm just going to check in. Looking good, everyone. Good. Sam, if you can try and bring your right elbow to me towards the camera a little bit more and bring your knees up towards your chest. Way more. Bend your knees. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Good, Lou. Lou, can you aim for a little bit more length through that top knee? Yeah, good. Well done. Really nice. Okay. Bring your hand back behind your head. Close your elbows back together. Come up onto your right elbow or the other side if you've already done this side. So again, you can lie down on your side at any time. Don't feel like you need to stick with it. Your elbow is directly underneath you. There's this lift without a squeeze. So think of your shoulder blade coming away from your spine down towards your elbow. Head, ribs, pelvis in line. And we're going to just quickly do a couple of little pelvic tilts here, because if you are feeling that you are getting it at the front of the hip or down the leg or underneath your bottom, you can pretty much do one of these while your leg is up and you'll feel the muscle change. We're going to do that little rock forwards and backwards, so keeping your ribs still, and just moving your pelvis. That's it. And then find that position where we're stacked, our ribs and hips. You're going to reach your left leg long. Check that your heel is back in line with you, in line with your head, your ribs and your pelvis. And if you've already got a muscular feeling in the wrong place, so at the front of the hip, down the leg or underneath your bottom, do a pelvic tilt here and feel the muscle change. So you'll feel where the work is in a different position. You might like to roll the pelvis and you'll feel it change. The other one you can do is reaching your foot even further away. So when you're in the right position, it should be at the back of your bottom where your back pocket is. And from here, we're going to lift our legs slightly, almost feeling that length. There's so much reach away from our leg that we have hardly any weight on our upper body. You're going to clean my table, take the toe forward, and then point the foot back. Now, obviously with this one, because we're moving the leg forwards and backwards, you're going to get a little bit more work into the front and then a little bit more work into the back. But if you let your pelvis go here, you won't feel it in the back. So taking the leg forward and use your exhale to keep your pubic bone connected to your ribs here as you take the leg back. Oh, my leg's lowered. 3. Good. 4. Sweeping the leg forward, toes forward, pointing back. 5. Come back into your center. Good. Little lift and lower. 5 and lower. Notice there's no movement here. 4. You can see a little divot happening underneath my hip. 4. I just rock back into my pelvis a little bit. 5. Hold at the top, little pulses. Check that we're either lifting up here or we're lying down on our side. 10, 9, 8, small movements. 7, oh it burns. 6, 5, 4. That's what you get for sitting on your butt all day. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let that out. All right, you're going to come up into, oh my gosh. You're going to come up into your Z position. All right, so that left leg is open to the side, hands out. Remember those modifications, how you sat on the other side. If you need to, cross your legs, lift your bottom up. There should be a little bit of space behind that sit bone. You won't get it all the way down to the floor, otherwise your pelvis will shift, remember. So try and find that neutral pelvis, pubic bone, hip bone square to the front. Arms come out to the side. Keep them in front of your body so you can see them in your peripheral vision. Elbows are soft. There's a reach away, but there's a pull back into your joints as well. Inhale through center, exhale, bring your right hand to the floor. Keep bringing your right elbow round towards the front. Coming back up through center as you inhale. Start with your head, your ear, then your ribs, and spiral that left elbow around to the front. Back up through center, pleating the ribs down. Weight on your pinky finger, elbow comes around. Well done, coming up. Like a tree in the wind. Exhale, come over, make it easy. Good, one more on each side. We're gonna hold this one here. Keep spiraling that elbow around, and then you're going to twist. So you're going to exhale, press through that right pinky finger. Elbow comes out to the side like a push-up. Think of your shoulder blades wrapping around the side of your ribs so you get that really nice stretch through your rhomboids, the muscles that sit in between your shoulder blades. Keep your neck nice and long, come back up to your front. Elbow comes into your waist, so think pointy bit of your elbow pointing to your waist. Exhale, twist. Staying forward over your sit bones. And coming back up. Good. And twist. So keeping your pelvis nice and still, think of that being a jar, and then the lid on top is twisting in the opposite direction. Good, one more. Exhale, twist, wide collarbones, keep the space in between the ears and the shoulders. 2 hands come to the floor. Separate the hands slightly so they're even. Press through both hands like an angry cat, pressing the ribs away. So think of your lungs and your kidneys and your liver, all those organs trying to reach out through the back of your ribs. Good, and then we're going to spring our legs around. We're going to do another round of tricep presses, but this time with a little pulse. So again, imagine you sitting in a chair and that chair doesn't move. You're going to lean forward out of your chair. You're going to do 3 pulses. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, press. A few things that I want you to keep in mind is your neck is nice and long. Your elbows are pointing back to the creases of your hips. Exhale, press. The back of the ribs are connected down. The front of the ribs are connected down. 1, exhale, press. And again, 3, 2, 1, exhale, press. And again, 3, 2, 1, exhale, press. Should be no movement of the lower body. Keep going. 3, 2, 1, exhale, press. Sam, point your elbows into your waist, to your hips. So get this connection here. 1, exhale, press. Everyone pause and get this back of your ribs to lift up a little bit. So we want to connect the front of the ribs and our hips. Good. And again, pulsing for 3 and 2 and 1. A little bit more, Lou. And press. Low ribs, low ribs. And 3. Yes, good. 3, hold it. Low ribs. And 1, Sam, elbows in. Good. 1 more. And 3. Marie, that ponytail must be heavy. And 1, exhale, press. Hold here. Really nice. We're going to come down onto our elbows. We're going to skip the cat-cow on this side. So we're going to come down onto our elbows and we're going to do the other leg. So it's our left leg. We're going to take our left leg long, all 5 toenails on the floor. From here, you're going to flex your foot. Keep thinking of the elbows coming down to the ground, the shoulder blades sliding away from your ribs. Keeping the ribs to hip connection, so we don't want to sink down into the ribs here. And then you're going to float the leg so far away that it starts to lift up. Find that little smile underneath your bottom where your crease and hinge is moving from. So nothing through here. 2 hips nice and even so that our right thigh is directly underneath us and not coming out to the side. You can even have a look at your right thigh and check that your hip is directly over your knee. And then from there, we're going to rotate our hip, using our toes to point outwards and our heel to point down. So think of your foot rotating like a key in a lock. From there, you're going to bend your knee, heel comes to your bottom, and press away. And again, 2. Exhale, press. And 3, shoulder blades slide around your ribs. And 4, gaze is at your thumbs, chin is tucked, nice long back of the neck. 4. And 5, if you think of a dotted line coming out of your tail, think of your heel coming up that dotted line and pressing away. Good, about 4 more. You can count to 10, I can't. 3. Good, 2 more. Find that inside thigh connection, so get back to that dotted line every time. 1 more. Good, and then from there, little pulses up. You've got 10, 9, 8, reach the heel away, 7, 6, I'm starting to sweat, 5, 4, 3, rib to hip connection, Lucy, 2, 1, well done. Keep the leg up, don't put it down. Come up onto your arms. Find that beautiful square position. Fingers into the ground, pointy elbows out, creases of your elbows in, spiraling underneath the arms. Take the leg to parallel, point the toes. Take the opposite arm up towards the sky. Good, now keep your frame, hinge at the hip and the shoulder, connect the hand and leg, and reach away. You've got 4 more, 4. Think of your head, your shoulders and your hips creating connection with the ceiling. 2 more. Think of being in a really narrow corridor, so everything's in, not too high. I reckon, Sam, you probably need to bring your hands in underneath you. I can see your back moving. 1 more. Nice work. 2 hands come to the floor, 2 knees come to the floor, and bottom goes back towards your heels. Good, and we're going to do a really, really nice little roll up here. So we're going to look towards our hands, open our chest, and coming back down. 1 more. Gaze comes forward, chest comes forward, breastbone comes forward. Use your inhale, exhale, release. And then in this position, I want you to stack yourself back up into sitting. So think of your sit bones coming to the floor. Drag your hands along the floor. Sit bones on your heels. Pelvis on top of your sit bones. Ribs on top of your pelvis. And then head on top of your ribs. Good. All right. I want you to have a lie down your back just quickly. Feet, pelvis, and head in line. Just feel the shoulders, the hips, the feet on the floor. Do a couple of pelvic tilts. I'm not sure how it is for you, but my pelvis feels a lot lighter. And just notice your feet, and your hips, and your shoulders on the floor. Take both hands up to the sky. Good, open them out to the side. If you haven't got room, take your arms into that capital E position. Reach your elbows wide and don't let them hit the floor. Now take a big deep breath in through your nose, fill your ribs. Exhale. And again, inhale through your nose, fill the bottom of the ribs. Exhale. Bring the hands, one on top of the ribs, one at the bottom of the ribs. Let your elbows soften, let your gaze soften. Inhale through the nose and exhale, just a little smile on your face. Keep your breath going. Feel your body on the floor, feel that connection. 1, inhale through the nose, nice and big. Hold at the top of your breath, exhale, sigh. And again, inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, hold the breath at the top, and then exhale, sigh. Well done, everyone. All right, so coming through your side, up into sitting. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop our recording and then we'll have a bit of a chat.